I'm Alexis Eckersall, Suzanne's oldest daughter. My sister, brother, and I would like to welcome all of you to my mother's celebration of life. We know many of you traveled from far away to be here, and we sincerely appreciate it. I'm going to try to put this in here and see if this works. Margaret, is it still loud enough?
Yeah.
Okay. Margaret Suzanne Snow Eckersall. Born September 1st, 1939, died September 21st, 2024. She did not like the word passed away, so I'm not using that. Margaret Suzanne Snow was born in Berwyn, Illinois, to Kenneth Todd Snow and Margaret Olson Snow on September 1st, 1939. Her family soon welcomed a brother, Kenneth Snow, followed by a sister, Barbara Snow, and a brother, Robert Snow. The family lived in Oak Park, Illinois. My mother attended school there and even started high school at Oak Park River Forest High School. The family then moved to Wheaton, Illinois, and that is where they remained. My mother continued her high school education at Wheaton Community High School and graduated in the class of 1957. From there, she went on to attend Lake Forest College in Lake Forest, Illinois, where she majored in Spanish and graduated in 1961. After college, my mother continued her education at Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, Illinois, to get a master's in library science. While growing up, her family was enjoying a membership at Medina Country Club, where she developed a friendship with Barbara Eckersall, who would later marry my Uncle Duncan Sutherland. Eventually, they would move to Australia. Barbie introduced my mother to her brother Raymond. They had only dated for 3 weeks when they got engaged. 6 weeks later, they got married at Medina Country Club on August 15, 1964. On November 3rd, 1965, my mother and father welcomed their first child, Alexis Eckersall. Suzanne was born shortly afterwards on June 14th, 1967, followed by my brother Raymond Eckersall III on September 9th, 1970. My whole family loved spending tons of time at Medina Country Club, where we participated in many activities. My mom played in the 9-holers, 18-holers, bowling league, shooting league, book club, card groups, and in the process made many great friends. She also participated in the White Fez Day shows, which she really loved. In 1984 and 1985, my father became president of the club, and my mother really loved being the first lady of Medina. The club is where we celebrated many of our family's major events, and that is why we felt this was the correct place to celebrate her life. My mother had so many hobbies and interests. She loved animals and taking us to the zoo almost too many times. She loved birds and bird watching. She had many reference books to identify the birds and animals she might be interested in learning about. She loved collecting rocks and even went on to take many geology courses as an adult. She took us rock collecting with her. She loved collecting shells as well. We started collecting shells with her at a young age down in Florida. Collections were a big thing with my mother. Stamps, coins, pins, compacts, you name it, she collected it. And she got me really interested in collecting too. I think it rubbed off a little too much on me. She was always trying to teach us something. Every night we would have a whole routine that not only included singing some special songs, but also learning all the important authors, capitals, and other information she thought would be helpful to us. At home we had the word of the day. She was a grammar expert to say the least, and corrected my grammar up until a week before she died. She also loved crossword puzzles. Everyone can remember her sitting by the pool or on the front porch working on her crossword puzzles. Her sister Barb will really miss working on them with her. They would often exchange numerous phone calls about the Sunday crossword. My mother was a huge movie buff and loved watching movies. She had a very large collection of movies that she enjoyed over and over again. Over and over. She had so many interests and was never bored and never ran out of things to do. She was also very talented artistically. She would always make us the best posters and presentation boards when we asked her for help growing up. Her drawings and paintings were amazing. She would also sew and knit. I remember asking her to make me things on the sewing machine, and she would just crank them right out. We all laughed about the phase when she decided to make us a lot of clothes, including golf clothes. My mother played the piano, the flute, piccolo, guitar, ukulele, and the harmonica. She loved not only being in the White Fez Day shows, but also played instruments in the Trinity Lutheran Church shows and plays. She loved jewelry and gemstones. She really spent a lot of time collecting Indian jewelry and other jewelry lines. Fashion was also a huge love for my mother. She enjoyed fashion shows, magazines, and shopping for the newest and latest clothing and accessories. She loved so many things, it's even hard to cover all of her hobbies, interests, and likes, so I thought I would just make a word list to cover some of them. Yellow, orange, birds, mammals, all other animals, plants, rocks, gems, shells, lobster, crab legs, licorice and caramels, Fannie Mae's, Jolly Ranchers, Chuckles, popcorn, filet mignon, J. King Mine Finds, QVC, Birkenstocks, all other shoes, LL Bean, Chico's, Philosophy, goat soap, scarves, candles, but must be Yankee and have a lilac or evergreen pine needle scent, American Indian jewelry, compacts, brooches, and pearls, stamps, golf, shooting, sunshine, swimming, rollerblading, straws, science, country music, playing the piano, guitar playing, flute and piccolo playing, playing the ukulele, recorder, harmonica, napkins, ancient aliens, the Curse of Oak Island, pot roast. I could continue on for hours, but this gives a partial picture of my mom, who was interested in many subjects. As we grew older, my brother and sister had kids, and we continued to be the number one priority in her life. To say she loved us and loved her grandchildren would be an understatement. Some people would say that we are too close. She showed interest in every single thing we did. I use the example of gymnastics. When I was little, she watched me do gymnastics and took me to my lessons, and as I got older and coached gymnastics, she continued to be my biggest fan. She came to the meets to watch me as a coach. She did the same for my brother and sister. My sister would always say she was her biggest cheerleader, and she was. She loved having my sister call every day after work to get a full update on everything that occurred at the hospital that day. My brother would say the same. We have many good memories of him taking her to golf tournaments and their famous McDonald's lunches. She loved us unconditionally and thought we were all the greatest people on earth. She felt the same about her grandchildren, Gabrielle Eckersall, Blake Gaffney, Julia Eckersall, Sabrina Lucas, her puzzle buddy, and Alexa Eckersall. She loved watching them in sports, going to their activities and concerts, and just enjoying spending time with them. They will miss her so much and all the special connections she made with them. She had a rough couple of years in the end and remained positive and fought hard to always be as healthy as she could be. She loved spending as much time with us as possible, and we really enjoyed it. Frank and I loved eating dinner with her, cooking out, and watching the Wheel of Fortune. He even got lucky enough in the end to get her to give him a caramel, which is a big deal, as anyone who knows her well realizes. Deanna and Ray also loved eating with her and hanging out. And if Ray didn't make it to watch Jeopardy with her, there was a big problem. My sister was always flying in to visit, and her kids loved hanging out with my mom. The problem with loving someone so much and being so lucky to have such an incredible mother is that when you lose them, it's extremely painful. We'll miss her forever and feel blessed to have had her in our lives. The other day we were talking about my mother and all feel she was happy and had everything she wanted and did everything she wanted to do. I would once again really like to thank all the friends who attended today, and I would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for recognizing our mother and for attending her celebration of life. I would also like to recognize her family members in attendance and some who could not be in attendance. My sister Susie Eckersall, my brother Ray Eckersall, the grandchildren Blake Gaffney, Gabrielle Eckersall, who could not be here today, Julia Eckersall, Sabrina Lucas, and Alexa Eckersall. Her sister Barb Prince, her brother Bob Snow and his wife, my Aunt Mary, her nieces Stephanie and Melinda, and nephews, Bruce, who could not be here, Kent, who could not be here, and Keith, who could not be here, Tom, who is here, Kenny, who passed away recently, Steve, Bobby, David, and their children. Not in attendance, but with us in spirit, my Uncle Duncan Sutherland, and then the nephews that live in Australia. Please remember her by sharing stories and memories. And to finish off, I would like to quote my mom and one of my most favorite things to hear from her. You are a good egg. Thank you. Please enjoy some nice hors d'oeuvres and appetizers.